Hi, my name is Tiana, and I'm an intern here at the Ruth L. Bennett Memorial Home and Pop-Up Museum, and you are watching Chester View.
We are standing here in the room that is dedicated, even though the whole house represents her, but this room is a room that was specially dedicated to Ruth L. Bennett in her memory. But I'm standing here with Miss Simpkins, and she's going to give us some history about the Ruth L. Bennett Pop-Up Museum.
Okay. Good evening, good afternoon. They call me Miss T. I'm the interim director for the NIA Center, and that's how I got involved in the project because Scribe Video wanted to do a Precious Places memoir, so to speak. And there are about 8 to 10 places in the Philadelphia area, including Chester. And the Housing Authority got involved, and they invited other people to become a part of the project. And because so little is known or published about Miss Bennett, it was very, very difficult trying to find information on her. So pooling resources, calling around, looking around, and all of that, I said, well, I know what I can do. So I gathered some of my items and borrowed some things from the NIA Center, and that's how this pop-up museum came to be. So because Miss Bennett had been sick in the latter years of her life, even though she continued to run the organization, it was from this bedroom.
Wow.
So it has even more historical significance when you begin to see all that she did, especially in the latter years, and it was right here. So it's no excuse for folks not doing what they need to do.
That is true. Now, I know that there's a lot of information starting to go out, so a lot of people are going to be asking, and how do I get in contact? How do I see this pop-up museum?
Well, right now, because I'm getting ready to lose my interns and I'm going on vacation, it's going to close up, and we'll let you know where it's going to open next. But it'll probably be at my other job, which is the Yes Center, the former YWCA Chester. My goal is to have a floor or at least several rooms dedicated to the history of Black Chester so that our young people understand their heritage, their history, and they won't be so angry once they begin to understand what it's really all about. And that was kind of one of my goals in teaching, to make kids be able to cope better with their, their surroundings. So a way that you can keep up with us is to like our Facebook page, and that's the NIA Center, and we'll post things about things that are happening in the city, as well as with the NIA Center and the pop-up museum, its next steps.
All right, we're going to go check out some more of this location, the Ruth L. Bennett Pop-Up Museum. Stay tuned.
My name is Jada Smack, and I'm an intern here at the Ruth L. Bennett House, and I basically run the museum to preserve history for here. And you're watching Chester View.
Imagine traveling from the South with just this suitcase. Not sure where you're going to sleep because blacks were not allowed to be in the hotels. So if you were a part of the Great Migration and this is all that you had, imagine being greeted by the beautiful face of Miss Ruth L. Bennett saying, I have a place for you to sleep. Share with us information about the Great Migration.
Okay. Well, the Great Migration was a time in our history where, because of industrialization and development and evolvement of many states with the kind of the dying off of the crops and things down south, many people sought better opportunity and they came north. And one of the places was Chester, because remember in Chester's heyday, it had a whole lot going on. And that included the shipyards, the dry docks, the steel, and all of the things that go around doing that. So you needed housing. And one of the things that began to happen is so many people were moving here so quickly that there was not a place for them to stay. And Miss Bennett saw the need and she tried to fill it. And initially they were sleeping in her house. And then she and her husband were sleeping at the church. And then eventually she was able to form that group of other women, which became the Ruth L. Bennett Improvement Club. And they purchased this house and they moved women and children in. How the Wilson Nursery became connected was there was a tragedy where a child or children were left at home and they died in a fire. And she said there is a need for adequate daycare as well. Because parents have to work, children still have to be safe, hence the Wilson Memorial Nursery. So that's where the NIA Center is housed. And again, as the Great Migration evolved, this was that kind of standard because this organization, this building is over 100 years old. And as you can see, touring it, you can see how it's changed, how it's been improved, but it's still standing.
Let's go check out some more information about the Ruth L. Bennett Pop-Up Museum. I am sitting here enjoying a piece of history. We have a old model wheelchair. We have a old radio, and just imagine in that time where you could look out front and actually see the waterfront, Chester waterfront. So this museum is amazing. Just walking through it gives you a sense of embracing history. Now, Ruth L. Bennett has an extensive history in Chester, and I'm sure a lot of people that even grew up in the Bennett are not even familiar with that. Give us some history about the NAACP, about Providence Baptist Church. Those are the things that I know people would like to hear.
Well, in doing some of the research, I had to just reach out to some people and organizations that I knew had a history. And one of the organizations is the Ruth L. Bennett Improvement Club. And there's Miss Pauline Clark, who was one of the women who was involved in the organization for many, many years. And her son took over when she passed, and then his two sisters took over when he passed. So Miss Yvonne is basically the leader of this organization, and they've compiled a book. And in that book, it has the organizational history. It has programs and things that they used to do on an annual basis. It has Miss Bennett's obituary, so that you can just kind of glance through here and find a complete history.
I see that she had her service at Providence Baptist Church.
And so in looking to find other information, I went on Calvary's website, and I found that not only did Reverend Bennett, Miss Bennett's husband, found Providence, but being a history buff, I read a little further, and there was a minister at Calvary who started Bethany Baptist Church. And then, like that wasn't enough, another minister founded Shiloh. So when you begin to look at history, you look to find the total picture. And that was what I discovered, and it just kept motivating me to find more. We were at Widener looking through their archives. I flipped the page. There's my grandmother, Evelyn Johnson, staring at me. Oh, flashbacks, the Tent Sisters and all of those people, and Mother Dear Brown, and just a lot of women who I called aunts and grandmothers in my time. And you see the evolution of the West End and, a lot of the social clubs and things that are involved. And that's a lot of the rich history of Chester that many people just don't know about.
We have so much rich history. Just walking through here was like, keep talking. Just keep giving me more history. I'm just feeling all excited.
And I'm glad, because if that's how you're feeling, then the museum has done what it was purposed to do, because that's how we want people to feel. We want them to feel warm and fuzzy and proud, knowing that Miss Bennett and her organization were pro-education. They made sure that there was black history in a lot of the classrooms, and now a lot of the schools don't even exist. So that's why, again, our children are very, very confused and upset, because they don't know, they don't understand, they're not able to see or connect the whole picture, hence the frustration and the violence.
Well, I think if people had an opportunity to come and just walk through this building, I know a lot of them just knowing that you walked in the same footsteps of Martin Luther King when he used to meet Miss Ruth L. Bennett in this building right here. So just to be able to embrace history, this is so amazing. How can people get in contact with you?
Well, again, if you like that NIA Center Facebook page, we always keep it updated. When I leave here, which should be in about a month or two when my stint runs out as interim, I'll be back at the Yes Center, the former YWCA Chester. And a part of my mission there is to establish an area where you can come and find out more about Black history. So like the Yes We Can Achievement and Cultural Center, and I keep that page loaded with all kinds of tidbits about things of interest to the Black community. So, and you can always call 610-876-2222 and leave a message or inbox us, and we will get back to you with any information that we have.
As you can see, history, knowing your history does make a difference. So make sure that you get connected with the NIA Center. Even when this season and this location is over, there's another location that will be popping up for Miss Ruth L. Bennett. Thank you. We'll be right back after this.